everybody, this is Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, back once again. Today I'm going to show the Sega Saturn and 3DO games that I have in my collection. As I've mentioned before, when I decided to get back into video game collecting in November of 2013, I wanted to go complete in box for pretty much everything, as often as I could, if it was able, if it was possible, actually. And that was mainly because when I was collecting for the Sega Saturn before, I did not have a lot of shelf space. So, when I would buy a Sega Saturn game, no matter what it was, I would take the discs out of the gigantic case, you know, the ones that were like yay high. I would take the disc out, throw it into a jewel case, take the instructions out, throw the rest of it away. The entire case and the back card, I would throw all that away and just have a jewel case with the disc in it and have the instruction book laying around somewhere. I was a fool. That was stupid of me. Because I had a lot of really, really expensive, well, games that are expensive now. I had a lot of games that nowadays are worth a lot of money. I have Burning Rangers. I have Panzer Dragoon Saga. Yeah. I'm so pissed with myself. I still am. It's one of those things where I wish I could just go back in time and slap myself in the face. But, yeah, we're not all Marty McFly. Don't have a DeLorean at our disposal. Anyway, so I'm going to go over the Sega Saturn games that I have repurchased, complete in case, or complete in box in the gigantic cases, which I really, really like, I must admit. Starting with Baku Baku. It's a puzzle game. I can't even get that in frame. It's a puzzle game where you match up animals and the food that they normally would eat. It's kind of like Tetris. It's actually a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I remember I used to play that a lot back when it first came out. Then there's Bust-A-Move 2 Arcade Edition. Back in, it was probably 95 or whatever when the Saturn first came out. This came out. I had a party, and I hooked the Saturn up to the big TV in my parents' living room. And I swear, we played this game for about 6 or 7 hours straight. No breaks. I am not kidding. Why? Because it was fun. And it still is. It's a puzzle game. It's pretty awesome. Here's a fighting game called Criticom by Vic Takai. I always heard that this game was absolute shit, but I never played it. I got it for only a few dollars, so I figured why not? If I'm collecting, gotta have some crap mixed in with the good stuff too. Daytona USA. It's a racing game, obviously. I always enjoyed this game, not only because it was fun, but because the music in it is so damn goofy. I mean, that guy that sings over every track in the when you're racing, I mean, it cracks me up. Even to this day when I listen to it, it just makes me laugh my ass off. I'm not going to do a rendition of any of it, so don't even ask. Fighters Megamix. This actually is a combination of characters from Virtua Fighter 2 and Fighting Vipers mixed together into one big fighting game. It's kind of like the pre-Marvel vs. Capcom type of thing. It's a lot of fun, even though, you know, back in the day, the controls for these types of games were very weird. Everyone had a floaty jump, like in Virtual Fighter, so it's kind of awkward, but it is a lot of fun. And here's one of those games, Fighting Vipers, that the characters are from in that. Yeah, it's the same. It's a lot of fun, even though the graphics aren't the greatest because everyone's all blocky and whatnot. But it is a fighting game at heart, and it is a pretty decently made one. Gen War. Yeah, it's a first-person tank game where you are just taking out aliens left and right. There's a lot of full-motion video in it, and I remember seeing Tuesday Night from Nightmare on Elm Street 4 in one of them in the beginning, and I was like, what is she doing in this? But, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I was just kind of surprised. I did not expect... That was the last person I expected to see in one of these things, because I kind of had a crush on her back in the 80s. Anyway, yeah, Gen War. It's okay. NBA Jam Tournament Edition. I had the biggest boner for this game back in the day for any system. I used to have the Super Nintendo version of the original, and a couple of friends and I used to play the ever-living shit out of that game, and we would like smack talk back and forth. It was so much fun. So when I started collecting again, I had to get at least one of these back in my collection right away, and this was the one I went for. One of the more expensive games I had to repurchase because I only had this in a jewel case is Night Warriors Darkstalkers Revenge. One of the best Capcom fighting games ever. The animations are awesome. It's horror themed. It's just, I cannot say enough good things about this. It's a ton of fun. I still have to find the original in a long box for the PS1. Yeah, Resurrection Rise 2. This is the sequel to Rise of the Robots, which is one of those games that was like super hyped up for the Super Nintendo and Genesis back in the day, and it did not deliver from what I remember. So naturally they made a sequel. Apparently it sold. I still haven't played it. I only got this for like $5. So I hadn't really been in a rush to try it out. I will eventually, but I'm really not expecting to like it. Sega Rally Championship. I really like the Sega racing games that they came out with for the Saturn. This one included. It's a lot of fun. It's different from Daytona because, you know, it's a rally racing instead of, you know, stock cars. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. It's really fast. The graphics are not that bad for the time. It's a good one. I highly recommend it if you can find it. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Of all the versions of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 that came out for any system, obviously this was the best one because, you know, the graphics were almost on par with the arcade. Sound effects were all there, the gameplay, the controls, everything. It's pretty awesome. And another fighting game, X-Men Children of the Atom. Yeah, if I remember this being a Capcom game, and if it's a Capcom game, why is Acclaim releasing it? I always wondered about that. But anyway... yeah, this game is pretty awesome, too. I remember having quite a few evenings where friends would come over and we would just play this into the wee hours of the night. A lot of fun. Great graphics. Okay, so that's it for the complete in-box ones. And then here are the ones that I have left over that I did not sell because I refused to... I actually refused to sell these because I knew how pricey they ended up being. But here's the ones I have left over in jewel cases. Like I said... Where is it? There it is. Burning Rangers. Punch me. Daytona Championship Edition. I actually have an import. One. I'm planning on getting more, but of all the ones I chose to buy first, this was the one I got back in the day. Yeah, I was an idiot. Yeah, Iron Chef Kitchen Stadium Tour. It's not really a game. It's kind of like something that you would use as you would be watching the TV show, give you extra information on what was going on. So, yeah, it's not much of a game, really. I'm not sad I have it. Last Bronx. It's another fighting game by Sega. The Legend of Oasis. I'm really trying to find an in-box copy of this as soon as possible, but it is kind of pricey. Nights into Dreams. It's another one I'm trying to look for. Complete in-box with the controller. I want that gigantic box on my shelf. It will happen. Mark my words. And then here are the ones that I'm the most annoyed at myself for throwing the boxes away because to pick these up nowadays is pretty pricey. Panzer Dragoon. Panzer Dragoon 2. And Panzer Dragoon Saga. Don't judge me. Shinobi Legions. I really want to pick a complete in-box copy, but damn, is this game expensive nowadays. I don't understand it. Everyone bitches about how bad it is. I don't think it's that bad, but the amount of money people are charging for that is like, it's a bad game according to you people, but yeah, you know, $100? No. And Virtual On. Okay, so that's it for Saturn games. Next is the 3DO, which, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated systems out there. It got a lot of crap. It was super expensive when it came out. It was like $700. I ended up, like, back in the day, I remember I had to sell my Genesis, my Sega CD, and my 32X, and all of my games just to pay off, I think, 80% of it. And then the rest came out of my pocket. I ended up buying another Genesis down the road and all that stuff. But, you know, I really wanted this thing because of one game. That was Way of the Warrior. And that ended up being a piece of shit. But this system does have awesome games for it. There's a lot of really good games. You just have to look for them. You know, you have to try things out. I know it had a lot of stupid crap for it too, but not everything was shit. But here, this is just for me. Okay, and of course, the gigantic boxes that these games came in, I threw all those away too. So now all I have left are jewel cases. So obviously I'm going to be rebuying a lot of these also. So, yeah. Anyway. Alone in the Dark. Balls, the Director's Cut. Battle Chess. This is one of my favorites of all time. I remember I played the PlayStation 1 version of this like nobody's business, but I always found the 3DO version the more superior, and that is D. It's a graphic adventure horror game, which is pretty amazing. The Daedalus Encounter, and yes, that is Tia Carrera. Flashback Quest for Identity. This is a superior version to the cartridge versions that were available for the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. Gex, an extremely funny platformer that ended up coming out for the PlayStation. Guardian War, it's a role-playing game. Microcosm, it's like a full-motion video shooter. Out of This World, the precursor to Flashback, pretty amazing. Primal Rage, it's a pretty uneventful fighting game with dinosaurs. I remember the fatalities and the moves in general were impossible to pull off because of the stupid button combinations. Here are two games that are really two of my all-time favorites, and to get these back in my collection complete in box is going to take a lot, and I'm not looking forward to that day. But they are awesome regardless, and that is Return Fire and Return Fire Maps of Death. Awesome, awesome games. Shanghai Triple Threat. Every system has at least one Mahjong game for it. Another one of my all-time favorites. I played this and beat it I don't know how many times. It is amazing. I'm actually thinking about booting this up again, and that is Star Control 2. This is one of my all-time favorite games, bar none. I mean, I think it's number 2 or 3 on my list of all-time favorite games. Starfighter. It's a pretty cool spaceship simulator. Stellar 7, Draxon's Revenge. It's got Michael Dorn in it. Symptoms, itchy, flaky scalp. Super Wing Commander, pretty awesome. I want this back in the box. Damn it. I'm just so mad at myself. Supreme Warrior, came in 2 discs. It's a full motion video fighting game, if that makes any kind of sense. Wicked 18, it's playing golf through hell. And I'm not much of a sports game fan, but this one I always enjoy because of the twist, and it is really fun and really hard. And then the Piece de Resistance on the 3DO. To get these back in my collection in the box is going to take some doing, but I'm definitely going to try, and that is Wing Commander 3, Heart of the Tiger. Probably one of the coolest games I've ever played. I plowed through that game when it first came out, and I made damn sure that I beat it as fast as possible because I didn't want it to end. And I beat it twice so I could get the girl. You have 2 girls to choose from at the end, and I made sure I tried each ending, and each ending is exactly the same, just with a different girl hanging on your shoulder going, oh. But, yeah. So, that is my current collection of Sega Saturn and 3DO games. I'm still working on replacing all of my jewel-cased Sega Saturn games. That's going to take a while. It'll happen eventually. Maybe. And definitely the 3DO games going to take some work because those things are still high-priced and a pain in the ass. So, that's it for this episode. So I'm Chris, the old-ass retro gamer. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please feel free to leave it in the comments section. I am open to everything. If you have any ideas that you think, an idea for an episode, when I get finished with all of these collection ones, let me know. So I'll see you next time.